Hello, good morning. Looks like we're live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. We'll get started in just a second here. All right, I am going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our network. Welcome. I'm Jamie Chavez. I'm the President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And every Wednesday, we bring to you a live broadcast featuring one of our newest chamber members to introduce them and give them a chance to talk about themselves and their business. For anyone who's new to our broadcast, thank you for being here. We appreciate it and encourage you to like and follow this page if you're on Facebook so that you get notifications for when we go live in the future. If you're on YouTube, you can hit subscribe and you can also explore all of our previous broadcasts there. We also offer broadcasts on Mondays, which are dedicated to city updates from our city councilors, our mayor pro tem, and our mayor, and also our city managers jumping in on these rounds as well. So these broadcasts offer a chance for you to hear what's going on down at City Hall. So we hope that you tune in for those as well. And we reserve the last Friday of the month for county updates with Jeffco County Commissioner Tracy Kraft-Tharp. So stay tuned for broader county matters in those broadcasts. As always, as you watch this broadcast this morning, we encourage you to engage with us, drop your comments, ask questions, say hello, and we will address those comments during the interview. And now I would like to extend a very warm welcome to Linda Delano from Country Financial. Thank you for joining us today.
Of course, I'm so excited.
We've got Dave Carpenter on. He says, good morning. Hello, Dave.
Hey,
good
David.
Morning. So why don't we start? Go ahead and kick us off. Tell us about yourself and what do you want us to know?
Oh, there's just so much. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you, Jamie, for this invitation. I'm really excited about doing this. I've never done it before, but who doesn't like to talk about themselves, right? I am excited to be in the Westminster Chamber. I'm excited to see where you take it. And I'll just start by talking a little bit about myself and my company. And if I get too loud, let me know because I get too excited and I use my hands. I should have been Italian, you know.
That makes for a great podcast.
Yeah. I was born and raised in Colorado, so I'm native. I graduated from Northland High School, and then I grew up in Northland. My mom still owns the home that we grew up in, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. I went on to attend college at UNC in Greeley. And, you know, when I went to college, like most students, like my daughter, I really didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I got a general business degree with an emphasis in marketing. Loved college, had so much fun, best time of my life. I partied, but I went to school too. So I graduated, and after college, still didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I had various jobs and positions. My first job out of college was actually selling cowboy boots because, you know, when you have student loans, you take what you can get.
That's
so
right.
I sold cowboy boots. Ironically, I'd never owned a pair. I wouldn't buy any. I wanted to wear my heels when I was selling them. And my manager was not, he was like, you really need to wear the product. So needless to say, that job didn't go over well. So I decided to get a big girl job, and I got a job as a mortgage underwriter for a little company in Aurora. And I knew nothing about underwriting. They stuck me in this office in the back by myself for 8 hours underwriting loans, home loans. And I pretty much approved everything. I think if you wanted a house, you got a house.
You get a house. You get a house.
Oprah, you get a house. You get a house. So, you know me, I'm a very talkative, active person. I like to be in front of people. So sitting in a cubicle was not my dream job. That company ended up going under. I got laid off, and I landed my dream job at that time. I started working for a nonprofit foster care company. I was doing their financials. I loved it because a lot of you don't know, my two kids are adopted. And so this is very dear, it's very dear to my heart. I had a lot of passion for this position. And unfortunately, 9/11 happened, the stock market crashed, and I was laid off. Jamie, I just kind of want to know, how old were you when 9/11 happened? Were you a baby?
No, I'm not a baby. I was a freshman in college.
Nuh-uh. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dang,
yeah,
girl.
No, I'm no baby. Yeah.
Wow, I thought you were just, you look really good.
Well, I appreciate that, but no, I remember it clearly.
Okay. So as I was preparing for this interview, I was thinking about how similar 9/11 was to COVID, because after 9/11 happened, people were losing their jobs, companies were closing, stock market was crashing, and we all had to navigate to find our way. So, timing is everything. Right before I got laid off, I had just bought a brand new house, a big house, new build. And I wasn't really nervous, because I think you come to a point where you're like, I've been laid off twice, and I think God has a plan. There's a reason for everything. And I just kind of thought, okay, let's see what happens. I knew in my mind that I knew what I didn't want to do. I knew what I did want to do, and I needed to be in front of people. I knew I wanted to help people, and I wanted to work for myself. I didn't want to have to answer to anyone, and I didn't want to get laid off again, because it's really frustrating. So, long story short, I needed insurance on this big house I could not afford. So I had to meet with my insurance agent. He came to my house. His name was Marshall. We sat around my kitchen table, and he was just talking about his job and how much he loved what he did, and he loved his clients, and he was just excited. And he said, we're hiring, you should come work for us. And, I'm thinking, insurance, not now, but I thought that seems pretty boring. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem like I fit that stereotype. You have a stereotype of, what you think an insurance rep should look like. But long story short, January 2003, I came aboard with Country Financial. 2 weeks ago, I celebrated 21 years. Yay!
Yeah, congratulations. That's huge.
Yeah. And
your business can drink.
What?
I said your business can drink.
Yes. Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's funny. Oh my God, you're a dork. Okay, yes, my business and I can drink. So I live in Westminster. My office is in Westminster too. I'm actually off of 92nd and Sheridan, where the Westminster Chamber used to be. You guys used to be a floor above me, and I would go visit you all the time. I wish you were still here. I would come visit you.
Yeah.
I go visit them. So anyway, so a little bit about Country Financial. Honestly, I know a lot of people most people haven't even heard of us. We get called Countrywide a lot. Countrywide is a mortgage company that went out of business, but Country Financial is basically, it's a preferred company. We like to say we provide a different client experience, especially in the market that we're experiencing now. Country will celebrate their 100-year anniversary next year. So let me do my math. We started in 1925, and our home office is in Bloomington, Illinois. We were started by a bunch of farmers, and our board of directors is actually still farmers. We offer auto insurance, home insurance, commercial insurance, life insurance, pretty much every insurance except for health insurance. And I am also a licensed financial advisor, so I can help my clients plan and implement their retirement. We don't advertise too. We don't advertise. So so you won't see us on TV ever. So if you like Flo, if you like Jake, you like the Lizard, that's not us. Our advertising is me. I'm the advertisement for Country Financial. So they really encourage their reps to get out in the community, which I do. I love being out with the chambers, and I like to meet with my clients one-on-one and work with them one-on-one. So that's a lot of enough about me probably. And I wanted to maybe go into what's going on in the insurance industry right now before questions, just because I don't know, Jamie, if you're aware, I know you have a lot going on, but you've got to be aware what's going on with the rates and everything.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a hot topic. So yeah, enlighten us on.
Okay.
Give us the insider info.
All right. Okay. So
I apologize. I keep muting. There's something happening outside my house, and so I keep muting myself.
Okay. Okay. No, I can't. Okay. So yeah, if you follow social media or you watch the news, you pretty much see that every company is raising their premiums. I sit in my office at least 3 to 5 times a day, either with a client in front of me or on the phone, because their rates are going up. And in 21 years that I've been doing this, I've never seen it as crazy. So much change, so much uncertainty. And I'll have a client sit in front of me and they feel like it's due to the Marshall fires. We're all familiar with the Marshall fires. But the reality is the Marshall fires were just a small reason for the rate increases and everything that's going on. What the Marshall fires did for us is they opened our eyes. They opened our eyes to the dramatic monetary increase that we're experiencing to rebuild homes since COVID. If you look at, everyone knows, I know we're sick of hearing it, but the cost of materials, labor, permits, I mean, it goes on and on. You go to the grocery store, lunch meat is, double what it used to be. So that's a reason, that's one of the big reasons. And I personally had 5 long-term clients that lost their homes in the fire. And their average dwelling cost or their dwelling coverage at that time was between $400 to $600. So that's what it would cost to rebuild your home. They were great clients. We met with them annually to review their policies. And we both thought, we both thought this is adequate. So Marshall Fire has happened. I just got 2 of my clients in their homes. We just rebuilt them. Again, they were insured for $400,000 to $600,000. And what do you think, if you could guess, what do you think we paid for each home on average? I might have already told you this, but.
Yeah, I don't think you've told me. I'm going to guess somewhere around $1 million. Higher. Okay. 1.2. 1.4.
This is a game show. Come on.
2 million. Let's go high.
Yay! You win. You win a car.
That's crazy.
$2 million. Well, it's 1.5 to 2.5. And yeah, is that crazy? It caught us all by surprise. And then people don't realize that last year, lovely Mother Nature threw in the worst hail season that I've seen in 20 years was last year. So we've replaced a lot of roofs. So the average roof used to be 10,000. Now you're looking at 20,000. And that's just the home side. So when you get your renewal, you open it up on your auto. What is going on with the auto insurance? Kind of the same materials, labor. But here we go. Let's talk about these new cars. Look at the Teslas and everything that they have now. They have computers, electrical components, cameras. What used to be a small fender bender that would cost maybe a couple $100, now we're looking at thousands to repair. Look at the windshields. The windshields have sensors, they have cameras. You have to, and I can never say this word, recalibrate, that, whatever that is, that's super expensive too. And, I always think about my first car. My first car was a 1977 Camaro. It was red. It was awesome. It was fast, but it was simple. It had nothing. So fixing it, anything was super cheap. I don't know, Jamie, what was your first car? Come on, share.
I don't remember the year, but it was a Subaru Loyale, and I wrecked it the very same day that I got my license because I backed it into a winch on a pickup. I couldn't see the winch. It was, low, and I was parking and I backed right into it, and so I wrecked it. I wrecked it, and my parents made me pay for it.
Did you? Okay, so the first day you got your license, you had to file a claim, right?
No, it wasn't even enough money that it was worth filing the claim.
Gotcha.
And so I just paid for it with my whatever I was working at the store.
Well, I think I can one up you on my driving test. I hit a pole.
On your driving test.
Yes. My driving instructor was so scared. I felt bad. Anyway, that's a family story we love. Anyway, back to the auto insurance. It's so expensive now to repair the newer cars. And then what we also don't keep in mind or remember is auto insurance also pays medical expenses. So if you would have hit somebody and they went to the hospital, you know, we would be paying thousands of dollars in medical expenses, and healthcare has gone up as well. So anyway, that's my spiel for that.
Yeah. So maybe did you have some more? Are you ready for some questions?
I am ready. That's all. Okay. That's all I got.
So how did you manage that with the Marshall Fire victims? How did you manage to rebuild when they didn't have that coverage in place already? What were your tricks there?
So, okay, good question. I luckily was I'm blessed to represent a company that offers guaranteed replacement coverage. So all my Marshall Fire victims had that. Basically what guaranteed replacement means is regardless of the coverage that you have that we're insuring you for, we're going to pay whatever. So my clients who had 400, 500, 600, we paid that 1.5. We rebuilt their home. We made them whole. They only paid $1,000 out of their pocket. That was their deductible. So it's no cap. It's a lot of the Marshall Fire clients did not have that, and that's why they could not rebuild, or they had to. A lot of them were paid off and they had to get a mortgage. My clients are very, they're so thankful. They love country. They love me, and honestly, if I couldn't have done this, if we couldn't have rebuilt, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Last summer, one of my clients invited me to her groundbreaking ceremony. It was pretty cool. There was wine, champagne, charcuterie boards, and when I was there, I was looking around at all these empty lots that were for sale, and it was really sad. She said, you know, a lot of the neighbors had to sell. They couldn't afford to rebuild, and a lot of them that could rebuild had to downsize their home. It was really sad, but these houses that we rebuilt they are gorgeous. I will tell you so.
Yeah. Well, gosh, I mean, so given that information, what can we do, you know, to lower our premiums, but still maintain adequate coverage? I mean, I think that's kind of on everybody's mind right now since the fires.
Yeah. And that's all I'm doing lately is I'm just meeting with my clients, figuring out a way to make sure they do have good coverage and they can afford it. I think the first and most important advice I can give anyone is meet with your rep. If you don't have a rep, find a company that does. If you don't have a company that does, I could be your rep. Just a little plug out there, but that's really important. So when I sit down with my clients and we review their policies, a few tips as far as the home, as far as your home. What is the year of your roof? A lot of people don't realize if your roof is 10 years or younger, that's a huge discount. If the roof is hail resistant, that can take from $400 to $600 off the premium. So let your rep know that. Get a security system if you don't have one. If you do, make sure your rep knows that or your company knows that. We're giving discounts now for smart home devices. That's a discount. One big thing that I've been looking at in the last couple months is personal property coverage. So we have your dwelling. So say your dwelling's covered for $100,000. Then we calculate the personal property at 75% of that. So you would have $75,000 for every $100,000 of dwelling coverage for your personal property. And one thing I experienced with my Marshall Fire clients is they actually said they had too much personal property. So now we have a system in place with Country where we can lower the personal property to what they really feel is accurate. I mean, personal property, I know things have gone up, but I just refurnished my whole living room for around $3,400 at American Furniture, but still that can save you $200 to $300 just by lowering your personal property. Yeah. Another huge issue, or not huge, I guess, hot topic is deductibles. Is your deductible too low? My clients did, my Marshall Fire victim clients, they had $1,000 deductibles. I won't even really do that anymore. Now it's at least a $2,000 deductible or higher. We're asking clients to have a little bit more skin in the game with the deductible. Watch out for percent deductibles. We don't do that, but a lot of companies, what a percent deductible is, and please check your policies to see if you have that, is it's a percent of the dwelling is your deductible. So if your house is insured for $1 million, your deductible is $10,000. And you don't know that because it's a 1%. A lot of them have a 1%. Let me back up. So you have a claim, you get a new roof and you have to pay $10,000 out of pocket. It's a moving target. As the dwelling coverage goes up, your deductible goes up, and they're increasing the dwelling coverage every year. Look at your policy. I won't do that. My clients went from $1,000 to $5,000 deductible. They won't have any surprises at all if they have a claim. And that's just for the home. Autos, same. Look at your deductibles. When I started, my clients had $250 deductible, then it went up to $500. Now they have $1,000, and now we're looking at $2,000 deductibles as well. When you meet with your rep, again, I'm going to keep repeating that. When you meet with your rep, let them know if you have any tickets that fell off. When you come aboard, we check your DMV record. If you have a ticket, you get charged for that. If you have an accident, but that's the only time we do. So if something fell off, let your rep know. Hey, can you check my records? Can you pull one and then recalculate my premium? Understand your coverages. I know we all want to save money. We all do, but sometimes people come to me and their liability coverages are really low. So if they were in an at-fault accident and they didn't have enough coverage, guess who's going to come knocking at your door? Mr. Frank Azar. And if you don't know who Frank Azar is, just turn on the TV in the afternoon. And no offense to him, but I hope he's not a chamber member. But
he's probably not watching.
I know he's not. Do you see any questions from him? But anyway, losing your life savings is not worth saving $100 every 6 months. And one thing to remember is as inflation goes up, so do desperate people increase. As far as we would have people cut in front of you so you rear-ended them just so they could file a claim, and then they're filing for back injuries and all, so they're suing because they're desperate. And then the last thing is just bundle. The more you can get with one company, the better.
Yeah, that's all really great advice. Thank you. Since I embarrassed myself and told the story about how I got in a car accident on my first day driving as a teenager, maybe you can talk about any tips or suggestions that you give people that have teenage drivers.
Yes, I can. Let me look at my notes because I have to remember. There's so many. First of all, I think that you need to let your student know, or your teenage driver know, that they need to keep their grades up. We offer a good student discount. Make sure they have, before they get their license, they get their permit at 15. And when you get your license at 15, it's free for the first year. You don't have to pay. But you're on the insurance policy. And make sure they have a 3.0 to a 3.5, because that's a huge discount. They should be doing the driver training. It's kind of expensive. I think I paid $500 to $600 for my daughter to take that class. And funny story, my poor daughter, she was set to get her license the day everything closed down with COVID. We were on our way in the DMV. So imagine that. You had an accident. She had to wait a couple months. But anyway, look at the car. Don't buy your teenager a Tesla because that's going to be super expensive. Don't buy them a big truck. The bigger the truck, the more the liability. We also have a Simply Drive program where you can go on and it talks about using your phone. Make sure they're not using their phone when they drive. We also, I'm going to try to show you, we have a driving app. Let me see. You can download and it will monitor their driving and yours. You can also track them. So the better they drive, then the bigger discount they get at renewal. I love this because once I saw my daughter was going down, well, this is not good. She was going down C470, like 90. I'm like, girl, you gotta slow down.
That's amazing that you can tell that though.
it's good, but it's scary. So I
Oh
don't,
yeah, absolutely.
the kids don't like it at all. They're like, she tried to disable it, but that didn't work. What I do too is I try to encourage the parents to bring their students in, or they're not their students, their children in, their teen drivers, so that I can talk to them. And I go over what to do if you're in an accident, because a lot of kiddos don't know. And the parents learn too, because they're like, I didn't know that I should do that if I'm in an accident. So it's kind of cool to have their kids here, and I go over at a very high level.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I will just kind of throw in a plug. We do have a driving school in the Chamber, 911 driving school of Westminster.
Oh, really?
So anybody
Okay.
watching that's like, oh, these are great ideas, they can reach out as well.
No, that would be good. That's good for me to refer my clients to. Got to support you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do people do if they do get into a car accident? Because I've heard you give some tips, and for in the moment, people get flustered. They don't, maybe collect the right information. They're not doing the right things that they should be doing. So what happens if you get in a car accident? What do we do?
So the first thing you do is call the cops. A lot of times, if the person doesn't want you to call the cops, there's something up. They might not have enough insurance, or they might be drunk, or they don't have insurance. So call the cops, because you want everything documented. Exchange insurance information. Use your phone. Take pictures of their car, their license plate, their insurance card. Take pictures of every area of the accident. I've even heard take pictures of the person that's driving, because sometimes if one person's driving, they'll say the other is, because the other person, I don't know what. Oh, and people will say they were really injured, and then you see them on the side, like walking around, and then the next day they're in a wheelchair, so take pictures of the people. Don't accept fault. Don't say that you were at fault. My niece had an accident. She was not at fault. They didn't call the cops. Somehow it ended up being her fault. And we actually ended up paying over $300,000 for that other driver. So yeah. And
yikes.
I know. And make sure you call you call your insurance agent right away, and they will guide you through the process. And it's very traumatic. It's very stressful. And actually on our insurance cards on the back, it says what to do if you're in a car accident. So maybe if you kind of are like, oh no. And if your kiddos are in an accident and they can't get a hold of you, make sure they have like my card, so they can call me and I can help them.
Yeah, that's great advice. I'm like the poster child for all of the stuff you're talking about, because a few years ago I got hit by an uninsured driver.
Really?
Who was just out of surgery. It was a mess. So.
Oh wow. Well, we'll have to have a side conversation, because I like stories like that, because it just shows how important what I do is, and hopefully you were taken care of by your company and you were made whole.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning lesson, though.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it. But we have just a couple minutes left, and I wanted to ask you, because I know that you are very involved in the community, and I see you getting involved all over the place. And so maybe you can just tell us about what you're doing out in the community, and what you've been up to.
Well, of course, during COVID, we gave a lot of meals to like St. Anthony's North. We gave a lot of meals to the firefighters, especially after Marshall Fire. We delivered meals to the firefighters that were on the front line. But my passion right now is schools. I'm really passionate about helping these teachers. So I'm looking for ways to help teachers. I'm asking you guys if you have a school that you want me to provide a food truck for lunch on a conference day. I did one last fall when they were first starting. I fed, I think, 80 teachers, and I want to provide a coffee truck. And I'm going to be renting out a theater for a movie night for teachers and their families. So if anybody has any other ideas, I'm trying to do 2 events within the community a month. So yeah, there you go.
That's perfect. Well, definitely send those in to us so we can get them on our calendar and encourage people to attend.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, is there anything else you want us to know?
Well, I just did my office. I remodeled my office.
It's beautiful.
I just signed a new lease for another 5 years, and I am going to be having a ribbon cutting. So I will make sure everyone knows. I'll make sure I get you. Of course, you'll let me know when it is. So yeah, nothing. If you're ever in the area, stop by the old Compass.
Oh, where can we find you, by the way? I think you mentioned, but maybe tell us again.
Yeah, well, because we are really regulated. I'm on Facebook. I have a business page on Facebook, LinkedIn, and then of course my website. And you can email me, linda.delano@countryfinancial.com. Pretty easy. Google me. Give me a good review.
All right, I'm typing your email address into the chat. Great. Well, I really appreciate your time today. Great interview. It was great to learn. Sometimes we think about, like you said at the beginning, oh, insurance, that sounds kind of boring, but it's actually really interesting. And you gave us a lot to think about. So
I tried. That half an hour went fast. I didn't think I'd be able to fill it up, but wow, see, I'm a talker.
Yeah, no, that was great. Tons of good stuff. So thank you again. And thanks for everybody that joined us. And we will see you at the next one.
All right. See you later tonight, Jamie.
Bye, everybody.